Hey, good morning, everyone. So this morning, um, I had my weekly meeting with my team, and we were kind of just meeting here and there on the fly. And last week, we agreed that, hey, why don't we just get something on the calendar, blah, 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 because I'm all about systems and consistency. So I had a system fail. Last week, we agreed, like, why don't we just meet this time every week to have something set in the schedule. I forgot to put it on the calendar. And so part of my daily routine or systems is every night before I go to bed, I check my calendar. Because I have people living in all different time zones, and we have meetings and everything. I make sure I check my calendar, and plus I have my scheduling system that runs in the background for me. So I just want to make sure I don't have anyone on my calendar that's booked, you know, um, because that happens in the background without my help. So I always just check it to make sure that nobody has booked and like, do I need to show up? How do I need to show up? Like, I sure want to show up like this in my workout gear. You know what I mean? So I missed an important meeting with one of my team members this morning, and I was like, oh. And so part of my routine also is I have notifications off on my phone until 9 a.m., whether I was living in Hawaii or in California, because I like to spend my mornings. I like to get my workout in. I like to get, my time in the Word and with God and all of that. And so I just have it off. And if I'm expecting to hear something from someone, I have the option to, hit the do not disturb and just turn it off manually. But I have it set every night. It goes into do not disturb uh, at night at bedtime, and then not it turns itself back on at 9 a.m. Right? Because that's when I usually start my workday, and it's past 9 a.m. and I'm still in my workout clothes. But I digress. I had to put out some fires because I missed the meeting. Anywho, um, so um, what I wanted to say is, right, if you have ever missed a meeting, like, right, I know I'm supposed to be the queen of systems, and I love systems, but sometimes things do fall through the cracks, and not that systems are broken, it's missing a step on the checklist or on the SOP that you created for yourself. And I'm going to be talking about that later down the road. And so if you haven't heard, I have a Facebook group called Systems That Sell, and it's for systems are for everyone, but this group is specifically for the female entrepreneur who is a mom, because right, moms have lives, and it's back to school season, and you want systems in the background selling for you while you are living your life, right? How else can you create a sustainable business unless you have a team or system or something that is like cha-ching, creating sales for you in the background? And this is different from, having an online course or anything like that. Because I know there's a lot of people who teach systems around like automating how to sell courses, like how to create courses, sell master classes. I'm helping someone create an evergreen webinar where we record it once, because she pretty much says the same thing every time she goes into a presentation. I'm like, let's just turn it evergreen so that they'll see the presentation. You don't have to be giving this presentation like a bajillion times a week, and you pre-qualify these people before they even get a face-to-face with you. And she was like, oh, right. So it's all about creating systems that sell. I mean, when I did turn on my notification, or when the notifications came back on, I got another notification that someone booked on my calendar. And I checked. I was like, okay, good. It's not till Friday. So I have time, right? Um, to do that. And for everything that I do, I usually create some kind of checklist. I do it once or twice, kind of get the bugs out, but I like seeing things on I, I I like having things written down where I can see them and I know what the plan is. And honestly, it has nothing to do with I am a control freak and I'm analytic or anything like that. The reason why I have systems in my life, in my business, is because it allows me the freedom to like it allows me the white space, right? So this morning I was like, ooh, I have a lot of white space, and my friends and we've been talking about spiritual warfare and things, and so I was like, okay, let me spend more time this morning connecting with God, getting grounded in the Word and like spending more time with God than I normally would if I had like an early morning meeting. And I was so engrossed in that personal development stuff or whatever you want to call it, right? Or that time, that me time, I was I totally spaced. So, one, what I'm gonna do, I was feeling really bad about it, right? I don't take people's time lightly. You know, when I schedule a meeting, I want to make sure I'm there on time or whatever, you know, because I know time is a precious commodity. It's time you can't get back. And I'm like, oh my gosh, was she waiting for me? And how long was she waiting for me? And oh my gosh. And I just felt really bad about it. And then on the flip side, like honestly, what can I do about it? I can't. I can't turn back the hands of time. I can't go back and like have the meeting, right? And like I said, she's in a different time zone, so I can't have the meeting later today because she's already sleeping. So all of that to say, systems are great and I love them, but we have to make sure that there's some kind of fail safe when and then right, so she did text me. She's like, hey, here's the link for a Zoom meeting. uh she didn't ask if I was hopping on, she didn't check, but I was like, yeah, because I had notifications turned off. So sigh, sad face, all of the things. But God gives us grace, and hopefully people give grace as readily as God does. But I'm gonna go give myself grace. And yeah, I also missed another commitment. I'm getting my life and my everything restructured since my daughter moved from Hawaii to California, and right now I have her schedule, and then she has a dog, so I have the dog schedule, and getting everything back into like alignment and a rhythm. It takes a little while. And right, she's gonna go back to school. She came here. She's transferring to a college here in California. So praise God, things are happening. All of that to say, right? We have to give ourselves grace. We have to give ourselves breathers. And that's honestly why I love the systems that I create for my life. And if sorry, now my notifications are blowing up. Of course. I don't know if you've ever experienced every time you go live that there are things, just notifications start popping up because, right, you're showing green on Facebook. But yeah, just I'm learning how to give myself grace, and that systems are systems and they're not rigid. They are meant to be fluid. I grew up in a company culture where we had to have systems and procedures for everything, because in an oil refinery, if you skip a step, you could kill someone. Not everything is that critical, but if you do something out of order, if you forget to like let's say like a gas. We'll use like a gas uh hibachi. What is it called? Barbecue. Sorry, yes, barbecue. Like what is the English word for that? Right? So barbecue, like a gas grill, right? If you if you try and light it off and it doesn't ignite, and you keep trying and trying and trying, like the gas gets released, and right, the igniter is not lighting. What happens if you keep trying the igniter too many times, right? The the um, the grill is gonna fill with gas, and you're gonna get an explosion because you have a rich environment. Too much fuel, not enough oxygen. No matter how many times you try and light that sucker up, right? It's oversaturated. There's not enough oxygen for combustion, and you will just not light your barbecue. Um, so there are, we even had like automated purge procedures on some of our furnaces because one, there were safety issues in the past, maybe not our facility, but another facility that we had to automate that process. We instilled what we call safety SSI, safety systems, something. I forget. It's been a while since I had to deal with all these acronyms. But it's a safety system that operates automatically. So if it doesn't detect, and we even had like flame eyes, which would detect fire inside of the box. So you didn't have to look in there to see if there was a fire. But we had all of these gadgets and things that would tell us if there was a fire in the box. If the eye didn't see the fire, like we could have seen the fire with our naked eye, but if the system didn't see the fire, it would shut it off. We'd have to purge again, and sometimes the purge cycle takes a long time. And there are other pieces of equipment that are either upstream or downstream of this furnace that needs this guy to come on quick. So same thing, right? I didn't put a check for me, and the meeting couldn't happen without me because how are you going to have a meeting with one person? So, right, I didn't have a check on my um, in my system, and it caused an explosion in my business today. Thank God, I a lot of my business coaches have had to tell me that when I make a mistake in my business, people are not going to die. I know you've heard it before, but because of the environment that, you know, I grew up in, right? I started in oil and gas when I was age 20. So living under that guise of like, if I make a mistake, someone could die, has been with me for about 20 years. And having to recondition my mind to say that if I make a mistake, it's okay. And I also grew up in a very, what do you call, like a dictator-y household. Not trying to be rude, but I've grown up in that kind of environment before where yes, if I did make a mistake in my own house growing up, there were consequences. And yeah, I mean, it wasn't like abusive or anything, but there were definitely consequences if you made a mistake. And I'm talking about like little tiny mistakes, like forgetting to forgetting to put something in the right place, forgetting to like wipe down the counter when you're done using the kitchen, or sink in the bathroom. It wasn't really, it wasn't major, but you would still get a talking to, like, hey, you forgot this, hey, you forgot that. And then after a while, you just don't want to get scolded all the time, right? um, so reconditioning that within me has been, it's been a journey. But in this season, especially during COVID and having to pivot, and just really reaffirming God's assignment on me and on my life, I really had to just distill everything and just tap into, God's righteousness, peace, and joy, and even their spiritual warfare that may have been um, like trying to come against me in my life and my business, really getting with God and getting firm in my beliefs and what I believe and who I believe in and who is with me, who is against me. Oh, low battery. But you know, but not everything's spiritual warfare, right? It's like I was just getting good, and look, I have a low power mode. Like it's not about that, people. Uh, but So I just want to leave you with this: create systems for your life and your business, especially for creatives. It's not a straitjacket. It really is all about creating structure so that you can have more free space or white space to create, right? Your brain can't really switch back and forth between, left and right side very easily. I mean, I experienced that when I'm heavy into admin or doing like project management work, and then you want me to switch and you want me to start writing content for my Facebook page. I'm like, done. I'm done. And that's the beauty of creating time blocks and systems in your business where, um, and right, I was working with one of my clients on this, is figuring out when your brain and your body is geared for admin work, when your brain and body is geared for creative work, and creating a structure and system based around your energy levels and your workflow and your natural bent. Okay? So I'm gonna leave you with that. And that's why, right? One, like I had the meeting this morning with my team member who lives in Europe. One, it's because of the time zone difference, but two, when I do the creative work and thinking about ideas for my business, I always have a better time in the morning, right? And then once I get into meetings and calls and all of that stuff, the creative brain kind of takes a back seat, and then the admin brain or the task driven brain starts to take over, and it's really hard for me to go wah 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 wah. And I'm a 50-50 left right brain person. I'm not more one way or more the other way. I don't know. These are online tests or even Facebook quizzes, so how do you know they're even correct, right? But I do operate and I flow easily between both sides. It's a lot of heavy lifting to shift to the other side. So that is why, especially if you are a creative and you hate systems and you hate structure, why systems and routines are so important is trust. I didn't like them when they were imposed on me when I was a kid. I'm telling you. I felt like I was Cinderella. Like, oh, here, do this, do that. Rah, rah, rah. All of that. And I was just like, gosh, I just want to read my book. I'm at the good part. Can I just finish that? She's like, no, it's time to do the dishes or it's time to do the laundry. Guys, I've been doing my laundry ever since I was, shucks, I don't know, like 11, 12, whatever. I've just been doing chores around the house for what it seems like forever. But yeah, I just wanted to I just wanted to relax and create. I wanted to do art. I wanted to sing. But I had structure that I had to follow, and it kills. I'm that person who I will stay up late to finish a movie because I need to finish it. I was like, I need to know what happens at the end. And so really cutting into my creative space or my free flowing space really used to just like stab me right there. So I'm saying all of this to say creating a system and a routine, especially for us as creatives, right? It's so weird. People think I'm an analyzer and I'm like that critical thinker person. No, I just put it on as a necessity because it frees me up to be creative in other parts of my life. I'm like, oh, I can watch Hallmark movies from this time to this time, and I have no guilt or shame or anything because that's honestly the time that I dedicated to watching my nightly Hallmark movie on my DVR, which is exactly 2 hours. They all are exactly 2 hours. So let me know, one, if you want to join Systems That Sell. It's my Facebook cover. I might drop a link below, but I know Facebook hates that. So if you want to click on my cover photo, there's a link to join Systems That Sell. And just one, have you ever missed a meeting? Let me know how you feel and if I'm alone, and how quickly do you recover or do you beat yourself up? So that's question number 2. Like, how long do you hold on to guilt and shame for letting someone else down? Or like, do you even beat yourself up more because you did something that affected someone else? And yeah. Oh, I'm also talking about how to align your purpose and your priorities this week. You may have seen the notification pop up. It's a little graphic. I have a nice social media manager who's handling that for me, right? Because if I'm going to preach outsourcing and systems and automations, I should be living the life myself, right? So anyway, that's happening in the Facebook group later on today at 11 a.m. Pacific time. And we're really talking about how to align your priorities with your purpose. So I define priorities as the stuff that you have to do, but is the stuff that's taking time on your calendar, the stuff that you feel like you have to do, that feels like a rush, it feels like a priority, is that really aligned with your purpose? Is that really something you have to do now that is, part of God's assignment for your life? I mean, right, if you're a mom, right, God's assignment is, part of that assignment is being a mom. So of course, doing stuff for your kids, and if you're a wife, cooking dinner, all of that stuff is part of God's assignment on your life, because you have the title of mom, you have the title of wife. But where, like, are you supposed to stay in your 9 to 5? Like, is that the title you're meant to have, or does God have another calling for you, an assignment for you? I mean, it could even be a volunteer assignment. Like, are you really supposed to be in that ministry that keeps you so busy and leaves you frustrated and stuck? My friends and I have been talking about that. Not everything that comes from the church or a ministry is really meant to be your assignment. It may only be for a season. So today we're going to be talking about that. I have a proprietary graphic that I'm going to share with you. It's the principles of time and time management. Time is an acronym, by the way. I've talked about it before, right? Time versus money and intention and energy. And they all work together, and I'm going to be going more into depth today on that time wheel in the Facebook group. So again, go to the Facebook cover photo, click on my picture up there. It says, click here to join Systems That Sell. So go ahead, click that, join the group, and I'll see you there at 11 today. Bye.